got to talk about Dion, right? We got to pay our prime tax. We got to talk about the Colorado Buffaloes. They are 21.5-point underdogs as number 8 USC and the reigning Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams come into Boulder. This is your 11 a.m. big noon kickoff on Fox, 10 a.m. local time for the second time this year. And listen, yes, Jared is correcting my pick. I did have the wrong plus or minus sign here. We'll get to that in just a second. And yes, Garrett, you're right. Listen, Dion said after the Oregon loss, this is the worst we will be. Get your licks in while you can. And I think he's right. I think that they are going to be much improved next year. They are going to be a force in the new Big 12 next year, starting in 2024. I fully believe that. They're only going to recruit better talent. They're only going to keep hitting the portal, keep upgrading that roster. And I do think Dion is a very, very good coach. I don't think they're there yet. And I think that Caleb Williams and the USC offense are basically going to be able to put up as many points as they want. Any stop that Colorado gets should be seen as a big victory. I know that you don't want to see that. You don't want to say that if you're a Colorado fan. I'm going to be celebrating if I'm a Colorado fan just on any stop that I get. Now, I think Colorado has a better chance to keep this one closer because I think they can put up a ton of points. I think the offense can move the ball. We saw that train wreck in Eugene coming from a mile away on this show. We highlighted that it was going to be a big mismatch. Now, Garrett, I think you thought they would put up more points than they actually ultimately did. But I think you would agree that it was a bigger mismatch in the trenches than this game against USC is. And they get it at home. So we like to play the Syracuse game. I'd like to introduce a new game. Is the USC defense good? Because we keep going back and forth. We were shaming them in week 0, praising them in week 1. It's amounted to 364.5 yards per game given up, 20 points per game. That's pretty good. You can deal with that, especially with your offense. Giving up 228 passing yards, 135.6 rushing yards. Last week against Arizona State, though, you're giving up 21 points to a team playing their backup quarterback, 263 yards to the air against said backup quarterback, and you're really asking a lot of questions leaving that game against Arizona State. So, all that being said, USC might score 60. I think Colorado can keep pace, though. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. I would take up the over in this game. If USC scores 60, they probably cover this one. But I take the over in this one. I'm going to take Colorado plus the 21.5 points.
Yeah, I think the Oregon game really exposed something there. I think the problem is that Colorado not being able to run the football effectively is going to be an issue for them long term. Shedeur Sanders is a great quarterback. I'll stomp my foot for that all the time. I don't care. He's a great quarterback, and he can do a lot. But when you get to just pin your ears back and rush the passer, that's not a good recipe for success if you're the Colorado offense. So you have to find a way to establish a running game. And so far, they haven't proven that they can do that at all. That's going to have to be a part of their success is being able to hand the ball off on a draw, hand the ball off on a power run, like anything you can do. Go any direction you want to with it, but you got to find a way to get rushing yards. I don't care if it's quarterback runs. I don't care if you're giving it to wide receivers on a sweep. You got to find a way to run the ball and get some yards on the ground, because if you can't do that, then a defense won't respect you, and they're just going to sit there and rush the passer. And USC has the athletes to do that just fine. They don't necessarily play that good as a unit, and it seems like they're kind of up and down, but they have the guys to come after you. And Colorado doesn't have those guys on the offensive line. So I don't know. I'm picking USC minus the 21.5 here. I'm a little bit concerned long-term for Colorado's run game. And I think that this is the kind of situation where if Colorado can't establish anything in the trenches, then yeah, it's just going to be a boat race for USC, and they're going to score as many points as they want to. Definitely have a better offense than Oregon. Maybe not by that much, but they definitely have a better offense than them. And yeah, it's going to be just whatever USC wants to do in the pass game.
Yeah, I think that's the safer bet. I think fewer things have to go right for USC to cover than have to go right for Colorado to cover. I don't know. It's another one that I just, going with my feeling, going with my gut here. I'll take all the points.
I was going to say another thing too is if you look at the way that Dan Lanning handled the game last week, it was pretty clear he wanted to send a message. He was, younger head coach. He's tuned into what people are saying. He wants to make sure that people, just the way that they talked about stuff, all the little filmed moments, all the way that they go about, collecting stuff. By the way, that was a great clip that they posted. I got no
We're
issue
not
with
going
that
for clicks, but we're going to post a cinematic masterpiece on our Twitter
and
with all the
good for
things.
them, by the way. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
can't blame them. Can't blame
That
them.
was
And it is
so
also
much fun.
fascinating. One thing that's just quick sidebar.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Oregon, but we're going to talk about Oregon real quick. Isn't it fascinating how the school that was accused of being all flash, no substance is now calling out another school for being all
It's pretty
flash, no
great.
substance? Like for all of our childhood watching college football, Oregon was just that team out west with the stupid uniforms, right? No one cared.
Yeah.
No one thought they could win anything of substance. I know they got to a couple national title games, but no one was taking them seriously. They thought they were all flash, no substance. And now, oh, how the turntables have turned, right?
Well, and it's partially true because they're playing really good football. But
Absolutely.
the thing about it is Dan Lanning went after Colorado with that mindset. And my question here is, do I believe that Lincoln Riley is going to try to do the same thing or no? Like, do I think Lincoln Riley is going to handle himself in a more mature way? Or do I think that he also wants to say, hey, kids on the West Coast, look at this. This is going to get all the primetime ratings. I want you to watch us just eliminate these people. And I want to watch, I want y'all to see this and go, oh, I want to play for them. I think that it's probably going to be more that case. I think that Lincoln Riley is going to go crazy in this one. So, look, I just don't think it's going to be. We knew this was going to be the case. We said they had a good chance to start 3-0 or maybe 2-1 for Colorado, and then week 4 and 5 was going to hit, and it was going to be a rough awakening for them to show who they are. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of a tough time for them. And let's get back on track. It doesn't mean Colorado's in a bad spot, but they're not going to beat USC. It's going to be USC minus a whole bunch.
Well, unfortunately for Lincoln, if he's trying to show a bunch of people on the West Coast, he's going to have to hope that they wake up pretty early because it's going to be a 9 a.m. kick for USC fans in their local time zone.
Gracious him. How about